In today's Mystery of Black History, we highlight Dorothy Height. In 1963, with the countless moving parts of the Civil Rights Movement, an umbrella group was formed called the Council for United Civil Rights Leadership. This council consisted of Martin Luther King with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Roy Wilkins of the NAACP, Jack Greenberg of the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, Whitney Young of the National Urban League, James Foreman of SNCC, James Farmer of CORE, and the one lone woman, Dorothy Height of the National Council of Negro Women. In Miss Height's memoir, Open and Walk the Freedom Gates, she walks you through her childhood in small-town Rankin, Pennsylvania, to her work and efforts on behalf of women across the world. Dorothy was born in Richmond, Virginia, March 24, 1912. However, when she was 4, her family moved to Rankin, Pennsylvania looking for a better life out of the South. As a child, Dorothy enjoyed being around other people. She would accompany her mother while she attended meetings with the Pennsylvania Federation of Colored Women Club. The family grew up next door to the church, so every Sunday was spent there. Dorothy's father led Sunday school and believed in starting promptly. This type of upbringing shaped Dorothy for who she was to become. On the influence from her mother, Dorothy states, "My mother helped me understand how not to show off what I knew, but how to use it so others might benefit. She always kept before me my responsibility to other people, and she taught me the importance of being cooperative instead of competitive. But she did make me compete with myself and always made me perform upward." Dorothy found her life's calling early on. Working at the Rankin Christian Center one day, she complained that the younger children were making too much noise throughout the center. When the administrator suggested she find a way to keep them busy, she offered to tell them Bible stories and help them make up plays to act out. Dorothy never had to apply for another job for the rest of her life. Social civic work was her calling. She was also a skilled orator, having secured a full scholarship through a national oratory contest. She graduated high school with a resume filled with community work, an active member of Young Women's Christian Association, YWCA, and a full ride to NYU. Her outstanding work continued as she graduated with her bachelor's and master's degrees in education within 4 years. Her work and brilliance put her in many rooms, with one of those rooms being Marcus Garvey. One of Dorothy's jobs throughout college was a proofreader for Marcus Garvey's newspaper, The Negro World. Shortly after graduating, Dorothy begins work with the New York City Community Center as the assistant to the center's director, a Reverend Scott, who in addition to the community center, builds Universal Baptist Church, where Dorothy also assists with the church's needs. Staying true to her calling, Dorothy is offered a caseworker position with the New York City Welfare Department. She quickly goes from caseworker to supervisor, stating, "Placed in charge of all central office services, I was responsible for recruiting and employing specialists in health, nutrition, home economics, ophthalmology, insurance, and various other fields. I was also responsible for several thousand workers in 2 district offices and all major special services the Welfare Administration provided citywide. I represented the administration in hearings on cases of discrimination or dismissals that were being challenged for any reason, and I was often called upon by the commissioner and by my colleagues as a resource on issues that concern relations among people of different races. I was all of 23 years old." Her work in the administration would open her eyes to the poor and destitute. It also taught her how to deal with conflict without intensifying it. Her time with the administration would last 3 years, as she would resign in 1937 and diversify her efforts with her work as the president of the New York State Christian Youth Council, chair of the Harlem Youth Council, a representative in the American Youth Congress, and an officer in A. Philip Randolph's National Negro Congress. Dorothy's work took her many places, to picketing with Adam Clayton Powell Jr. and his church, to international civic efforts with Dr. Benjamin E. Mays and his wife, to a close friendship with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. National figures knew Dorothy Height and her value. It was limitless. In 1937, Dorothy meets Mary McLeod Bethune at a meeting at Bethune's group, National Council of Negro Women. The two immediately connect as Dorothy goes from executive at YWCA by day and Bethune's right-hand woman at NCNW by night. These two companies would transform Dorothy's trajectory and take her reach from national to global. Both ventures moved Dorothy to Washington, D.C., where Dorothy had one objective in mind: improving the lives of women in general and Black women specifically. With close proximities to federal dollars, Dorothy and the NCNW would work tirelessly getting money to regional chapters to assist in aiding the communities. What set Dorothy apart was her ability to be in the rooms with political elite inspiring change, while simultaneously being in the thick of the racial struggle. She spent 2 turbulent summers in Mississippi, 1964 and 1965, working with Fannie Lou Hamer and other women activists building freedom schools which taught voting and civic rights to Black communities. Dorothy's genuine compassion for people, coupled with her ingenuity, left a legacy that's embedded in the soil of America. In her closing chapter, she goes to the state, "Early in life, I was exposed to youth and adults from around the world. I've worked directly with women and their governments on 5 of the 7 continents. I've had the challenge of leadership in 3 major national women's organizations. Building on religious faith deeply rooted in my childhood and youth, I found my life's work. I am the product of many whose lives have touched mine, from the famous, distinguished, and powerful to the little known and the poor. The past has taught me many lessons, most especially that I have a responsibility to future generations." Dorothy Height, one of the most monumentous figures of the 20th century. I barely scratched the surface of her work, so for more details, check out Open Wide the Freedom Gates and let her tell you herself. Like if you enjoyed this segment, share if it can benefit others, subscribe for more book-related content. Till then, stay in the book and stay out the way.